France is to evacuate its citizens from Niger because of anti-French sentiment following last week's coup. The coup has prompted demonstrations against the former colonial power, with the French embassy coming under attack. Germany has also urged its nationals to take up France's offer to help other Europeans, and Italy is also organizing a flight. It comes as the juntas in Burkina Faso and Mali warned that any possible attempt to restore the ousted president would be seen as a declaration of war. The two neighbors, also former French colonies, have both moved away from France and towards Russia after staging their own coups in recent years. The warning marks a significant twist that could escalate the volatile situation in a region battling an Islamist militant insurgency. Joining me now is global affairs analyst Adebayo Oluwake for more on this development. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 10. The talk on the streets in Niamey is that, France was planning military intervention to reinstate President Bazoum. The accusation has now been denied by the French foreign minister. But would you say that there's substance or an antecedent to this accusation?
Thank you for having me. I believe that it will be extremely difficult for France to launch any operation at the moment to try to reinstate President Bazoum, simply because you have a lot of French citizens in the country, and any military operation, even if it's by special forces, still will pose a risk to the lives of the French citizens who are there, as well as to the life of President Bazoum himself. So I think that the junta in Niamey are just increasing the pressure on France with a view to actually dissuading France from thinking in that direction.
What do you think the evacuation of French citizens means for France's efforts and that of other Western countries to help Niger fight Islamist jihadists?
I think the evacuation would be a normal reaction from any country in the circumstances, because if they are not evacuated, if something goes wrong, it could have serious political implications for President Macron in France. And so naturally, the first thing would be for them to ensure that French citizens are removed from harm's way. Also because even within the Niger military, even though the coup plotters seem to have a unanimity, but there are still speculations that some people in the military may not completely be on board with what is happening. So you may actually have, given the international pressure which is mounting, you may have a situation in which the military in Niger fractures into two and engage themselves, in hostile action, which will put the lives of French and other international citizens in the country at risk. So I think this is these are the scenarios,
Let's talk about the role of Russia in all of this. So we understand that Russian flags have now appeared on the streets in Niamey. They say it's likely that Russia's Wagner group is looking forward to, fill in the gap in case the foreign troops leave. What's the implication of this on security in that part of the continent?
I think that the Wagner is quite popular at the moment because of its operations in Ukraine and revolving around the capture of Bakhmut, which was a battle that was fought for a very long time. But other than that, there has been nothing spectacular about the Wagner group. They have been in Mali and Burkina Faso. They have not achieved any successes. The success level is not better than what the French forces achieved while they were in Mali. So I personally feel there's gross exaggeration of the capability of the Wagner forces. So if they are deploying into Niger, it will be interesting to see exactly how they are going to be used. Because in Mali, they have busied themselves with actually protecting the government in Mali. They are not directly engaging against the insurgents. They have rather been training Malian forces. It is the same situation in Burkina Faso. So I don't really see Wagner forces in Niger being deployed against any of the insurgents. I think it is probably going to be the same orientation that their deployment in Mali and Burkina Faso has, which will be to protect the regime as well as to train Nigerian forces that will be deployed against insurgents. And then, of course, to provide some psychological reassurances to Niger, hoping that the presence of Wagner will dissuade ECOWAS from deploying military action to oust the junta.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. We understand that ECOWAS also has to thread very carefully with its proposed military intervention such that it doesn't escalate the violence, and even some have talked about the possibilities of a civil war if that happens. But that's our time. Global Affairs Analyst Adebayo Oluwake, thank you for talking to us on the news tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Now, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, says the Nigerian Army